everyone, and welcome back to the channel. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know what podcast episode this is, but whatever one it was last week, I'd one onto it, and here we are. I am joined today by the magnificent, the mighty, the Mr. Andy Bell. How are we today, Andy?
Yeah, good, thanks. Bit of struggle with the Wi-Fi on both of our ends, but
Yes.
we think we've got it okay. We're gonna try anyway. So people may never see this, but
Oh,
it'll
yeah.
be forever in our hearts. That's the main thing.
It will. It seems to be okay, touch wood. We'll see how we get on. But yes, another week has passed. First time I've been on a podcast in a while. Life has gotten in the way, but we are back. We are better than ever. And we have absolutely billions of things, not billions, but almost billions of things to talk about today. Starting with, how nice does it feel to come away from Prenton Park with a win? A nice little 2-0 win against Reading Sunday, a couple of days ago, just gone. I'm still buzzing after it. I hope you are too, Andy, but I think this was a game that we just need to take it by the scruff of the neck and get whatever out of it that we could, preferably a win. I think losing wasn't an option because of the situation we're in, and how close the bottom of the table is now getting. But we've got those 3 points over a team who were below us, so can't catch up to us. We've made a tiny bit of a barrier between us and the bottom two teams especially. And all of a sudden now it's looking like another 3 points at some point, hopefully against Leicester this weekend, could be enough for us to stay up. More the merrier, obviously, but how are you feeling now after picking up those 3 points on Sunday?
Well, it's at this point where I try and work out how long I have to politely answer your question before I talk about Fuka Nagano. So I'll
Nice.
start, but if I'm there in like 20 seconds, I apologize. No, it was a really, really important result for us. I think the feeling around the place wasn't quite what it was at the start of the season. It certainly wasn't quite what it was last season, in the sense that we'd come off the back of a January transfer window. We'd signed a few midfielders. We got a striker in on the last day who played for us before. A bit of a question mark, I think, around the recruitment policy. A little bit of a question mark over some of the injuries that are happening and why they were happening. And just a performance against Manchester United, the like of which we hadn't seen from this Liverpool women's side in years. In every game we were at least competitive, if not brilliant on the ball, and that sort of raised question marks for me as to, well, Leicester look like they're picking up a few more points here, and you had to look at these next two games. You saw Reading and Leicester, and if we did pick up, a point, or even heaven forbid no points, we could have been in a relegation scrap very, very quickly. And it's one of those games where you don't really care how you win. You just want to win it. And that's what Liverpool did. Liverpool weren't fantastic by any means. I think we were probably the better side overall. But Reading could have had a couple of goals in the first few minutes. They hit the bar early doors from a corner. They probably have a little bit better the play in the first half. There's an interesting graphic from Anfield Analytics this week, which you can probably attach to the show, but it shows the field tilt, and basically it's there's all sorts of different analytics, and people can choose what they want to believe and what they trust and what they think's a good measure of a performance. But it basically showed Reading on top for quite a lot of that game. But it was one of those where it was scrappy. The first goal's almightily scrappy. It's sort of, as Bo Kearns reaches around the corner, pokes it into the net, it just about goes in. The second goal is a typical, long throw into the box, flick on, and Kerry Holland volley, which we probably haven't seen enough of this season. It should be more of a trademark goal than it is. But it comes through for us in the end, and it's not. You'd ideally like a little bit of sort of tactical progression. You'd like seeing us get up the pitch in a little bit more of a progressive way that can maybe hurt even better teams. But for now and for this season, I think it is just about getting these points and getting these results. And I mentioned in the first part a little bit of a concern for the recruitment and the strategy, which seems a little bit amateurish at times, in the sense that it always seems to revert to a panic of just getting players in who played for us 10 years ago, which is fine. It can get us through things. That is worrying from that point of view. But if we're going to criticize them for that, we have to give them immense credit, because they've somehow pulled this Fuka Nagano out of absolutely nowhere.
Incredible.
And she just looks like genuinely levels above anyone else on the football pitch. But I'm sure we're going to talk about her later. So we get all the other boring stuff out of the way before we do.
Go into it. Let's talk about like standout performances. I think obviously Nagano is above and beyond, and I think this was possibly the first game where we were able to see more of her capability since she's joined. Obviously, you feel a little bit more settled now. She gets that start that ended after 6 minutes against Chelsea, and then plays against Chelsea again in the Conti Cup, and then but this felt like the first time that we were able to see her on the ball a little bit more involved in like the team as a whole. So I think her performance was immense, and what I love about it is that because she's occupying that deeper role, but by the way, I think she's brilliant in that role, but I think she equally could push higher up the pitch as well.
And she plays the number 10 for Japan.
Yeah, she's got both of those sort of things in a locker. But what's nice as well is that this game was a perfect example of let Kerry and Bo free, and like look what happens. They both get on the score sheet because they're not feeling behind them. They've got no one there to protect the back line, and she almost like invites that confidence into the other two midfielders to go up and go and be creative, press the opposition's back line and force mistakes. So I think in so many different ways she's come in and been such a vital asset to this team, and so early on as well. Like it's only a third game. But yeah, to have a player like that with us, I think we were calling out for someone to come in and be exactly what she's doing.
If you look at the teams we've seen come to Prenton Park this year, ever since we've got promoted, we've watched Chelsea and Arsenal, who are the two best teams in the league. We've seen Man City in the Conti Cup. We've seen pretty much every member of the England Euros winning squad. We've seen Sam Kerr. We've seen Miedema. You can reel off the list of genuinely world-renowned names and legends of the games that we've seen come to Prenton Park this season. I genuinely haven't seen a better performance from any of those than what Nagano put in on Sunday past there. It was watching just a different level of footballer. Mm-hmm. There have been some standouts for this season. I think Kerry Holland has been the main one over the course of the season. But I think Nagano's a level above even that. I have to be completely honest. And
with football knowledge as well. The knowledge of what she's doing. Yeah.
She's just so intelligent. She manipulates the ball in such a way that, she always has a pass on. She always has a passing angle. And these aren't just safe passes. These aren't just passes to get us out of a little bit of trouble or get us a little bit of space in the midfield. Some of these are defense splitting passes and passes around the corner. Yeah. Passes which start chances. And when she needs to put the foot on it and slow it down, she does. When she needs to speed it up, she does. She's physical as well. At one point,
completely dictates the game. Essentially,
I'm not sure who the big Reading number 21 is. I think it was, but like she must have been about 6'5", hard above everyone on the pitch. And at one point, Nagano went up for a header with her, and I was like, "Fuka, you're brilliant, but like, come on, now, let's be real." But that just shows the level of confidence she has, and you know, she's come in. And it's just coming at a difficult time. She doesn't speak the language. We know that. She did her interview in Japanese. We know she's learning, and good luck to her with that. Especially in this part of the world, it's difficult to understand at the best of times for native speakers. Yeah. But to come into that, obviously, by all accounts, seems like a really quiet girl, and you could have forgiven her for being the one of the signings that would have taken a little bit of time to settle, and you'd have thought, okay, maybe we'll not see what she's up to until sort of March or April time. But like, oh my goodness, it was. I think everyone came out of that ground on Sunday talking about her. Everyone in the pub afterwards was talking about her. Everyone on Twitter was talking about her. There are players like I saw Leanne Kiernan's tweet, and I think somebody else. I think it was Kerry Holland quote tweeted you, and you said something along the lines of, "Oh yeah, just brush that one off, shall we?" A little bit of a name drop there. You said something along the lines of she's absolutely brilliant, and Kerry Holland just put back, I echo this tweet or something. Yeah. And I liked another tweet of yours, which was basically get her in for the men for the derby because she's the best midfielder at this football club. Just a phenomenal signing. Mm-hmm. I think that game could have become very scrappy on Sunday if she
Yes.
wasn't there.
Yeah.
She added a bit of class to it. She added a bit of control to it. And we've got quite a lot of piano carriers in the team. To go back to the Bill Shankly analogy, if you need 8 players to carry the piano and 3 people to play it. And I think we've got a lot of piano carriers. We've got a lot of players who are fit, who will run around, who'll put 100% in, but maybe don't quite have the quality that we need in those key moments. And I think we've certainly signed a piano player in
100%.
piano.
I think another one of them is Kerry Holland, obviously now 3 goals in 6 games, and went 40 games before that with no goals. I think back to when we first signed Kerry Holland and those couple of that run of games where she was like, she broke the lines and got through on goal and had a bit of a scoring spree for a couple of games. I think it's literally the first couple of games she signed for us. And like, I think especially over the championship winning season, she very much was that holding position. Didn't really see her jolt forward that often. Didn't really see her in like the danger attacking areas. You very much saw her as breaking up the play and then delivering that to the more creative players to get on the ball and get forward. But especially in that game on Sunday, I kind of felt we saw that glimpse of that Kerry Holland when she first joined Liverpool, and that's a really, really exciting thing to think about. Like, she's banging in the goals. The work rate is absolutely through the roof. It is just wild. I feel like it's like Kerry Holland reborn. Do you know what I mean? And I think that paired with Nagano and paired with Missy Bow in the middle of there, like, that's just a match made in heaven, isn't it?
Yeah, it definitely is a midfield we can build a team around now. You can see that's a strong point of the team. Kerry Holland's had a brilliant season from that first game against Chelsea, where she covered so much ground, got in the way of things, made things dead awkward. I think she's played really, really well. I think probably the only game she didn't have a good game was against Manchester United, in which nobody.
I don't think anyone did in that game. Let's be honest.
Nobody did. And you know, it was Arsenal came to Brenton Park, was the best player on the pitch. And yeah, we've seen that all season. And you're right, because we've made this shift from the 2 in midfield to the 3 in midfield now. And what it means is there's not 2 players in a kind of double pivot. And you say a double pivot is in one could go forward, one could go back. But realistically, they both have to be fairly disciplined. You can't get caught up the pitch in a 2 in midfield. Certainly, if you're a team like Liverpool playing the WSL, where you're underdogs for most games, you know, you have to be disciplined. And I think that sort of held Missy Kearns back a little bit last season. I certainly think it held Rachel Furness back at times last season and this season. But Kerry Holland was one of those who thrived off it because she could do a little bit of both. She was never going to be the ones that was going to be, she was never going to be the most advanced midfielder. But simultaneously, I wouldn't have liked to think she would have wanted to play in that Nagano kind of role where you're purely in front of the back four and you never really get forward. So obviously we've gone to the 3. And yeah, she's shown that she's got goals in her. And that's probably something, as you say, she would want to add to her game. She doesn't score last season, as far as I know. The 40 games would probably stretch to the season before. She certainly didn't get very many. She certainly wasn't a reliable source of goals, and maybe still won't be a reliable source of goals for us. But certainly one of those players who can make intelligent runs, who's quick enough, who's got the engine, who, when other players are tired, she's still bombing forward and she has those legs on them. You know, the goal against West Ham sort of is a really good finish, and yeah, right place, right time yesterday. What was the other one? Oh yeah, the one against Chelsea was brilliant as well. I don't know if we ever talked about that, but that was a lovely finish too. So yeah, if she can add that to her game, a couple of assists, couple of goals. We're not asking massive things. We know we're not going to score that many goals across the course of this season. You know, then we absolutely can do. But she's one of those players that's really good in a sort of pragmatic team. The way Matt Beard wants to play, you know, isn't the most beautiful style of football. It doesn't have to be. But you know, you need those types of players, and I'm sure she's an absolute gem for him. And I suppose just a final point around it. You're looking at that now, and you've got a Kerry Holland who's 24 years old, I think. You've got Nagano who's 23, and you know, if the investment in this team doesn't improve, and there's not more investment in the playing squad, then these players will go on to bigger and better things. So you know, you can either keep doing what we're doing or you can actually build for the future, and you can build a team around them, and you can promise them some things. We will build the team around you. You go to Chelsea or Arsenal, you're just another player. You stay here, we'll build a statue of you. We'll have flags with your name on it, and that's what you have to sell to them. But you have to sell it to them with a vision, and yeah, a little bit more of the idea of we're going to sign quality around you. You could actually achieve what you want to at Liverpool, and there's no reason why they can't. There's no reason why they can't.
No.
But that does need to happen. I think there's going to be pressure on both of them this summer. I think there is genuinely going to be pressure on both of them. We've heard rumors of teams in Europe looking at Kerry Holland. And, if we get another season out in Nagano, I think we'll be doing well. I think there'll be teams sniffing around her too. So yeah, it needs to happen. It needs to be now. And we need to show them that you can achieve what you want to achieve at Liverpool. And there's no reason why they can't, but you've two top quality players there.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. Everything. Could have said it better myself, Andy. Thank you for that.
You say that a lot when I'm on podcast, Jimmy. You ever noticed
You're great.
that?
You're great little nuggets of knowledge, you. Someone who you mentioned and will briefly kind of
you're gonna say
someone who you kind of like very briefly mentioned, and is someone that will be missed in the fact in the sense of we're not going to dwell on this one, but we're gonna celebrate all her achievements. But it was announced earlier last week, that Rachel Furness was to depart Liverpool through mutual contract termination, which it's really, really sad. But when I think about it, massive part of Liverpool women's culture and history now, massive part, huge success with the championship season, and she can be really, really proud of the efforts she put in there. Scored some really important goals throughout that campaign last year, and there's been a real vocal figure in the dressing room, obviously being vice captain as well. But yeah, I believe, was it Tuesday it was announced, and then she announced that she was signing for Bristol City a couple of days later. Obviously Bristol down in the championship and looking to get promoted as well. I think she's going to be absolute gem for them in helping them in their efforts to come up this season. But yeah, it's bittersweet. Like, I think if you actually look at the facts and what's gone on, she's not getting enough game time here. We've got a lot of players, and we've just brought in three new midfielders. And obviously Fernie was the one that's had to make way for them, but a legend of the club, would you say?
Yeah, absolutely. And a legend of my country as well. The record scorer for Northern Ireland women's, fired us to a first ever major tournament. To be doing that for my country as well as my club just makes her probably my favorite footballer ever. I have to say, everyone knows how much I love her. I've got the flag. I still have the flag. I'll always keep the flag. It's
Don't
not
Bristol City
fans are having it. Hey, there we go. Yeah, we've done that a few times, to be fair. So just a bit gutted about it, to be honest. I completely take the point that it's the right thing for her. I understand that she needs to be playing football, especially at her age, and she wants to be playing football as well. And I think it's better that she's enjoying it. And I think it's better that she has gone down to a top side in the championship for the rest of the season, rather than going to maybe a Reading or a Brighton or a Leicester, where you're more or less looking at 30-40% possession every game at most. She's going down there. She's going to get opportunities. She's going to get chances to pull those strings and do what she does best, which is score, get assists, make herself and her presence felt, and generally just be a fantastic footballer and a fantastic human being. We can't just say that it's great for her, and that there were other solutions to this. Rachel Furness has scored big goals for us this season. Well, one big goal in the she rescues the point down at Brighton. The league table could be looking a lot different if that didn't happen. What would results after that look like if that didn't happen, if we lose that game after having been very dreadful for around 70 minutes of it? She wins the header for one of the Stengel goals against Chelsea. She changes the game in that first game against Chelsea when she comes on. Before then, Liverpool held them at arm's length. but were absolutely toothless and couldn't get anywhere near the goal. And all of a sudden, you had a physical presence there. Somebody who was, you know, say, I don't care if Millie Bright's played at the Euros. I don't care if, you know, Sam Kerr's scored 30 million goals last season. I'm going to put myself around. I'm going to challenge for headers, and I'm going to fight as much as I can here. And she completely changed the mindset of that team in that game. And she wasn't getting played enough, but we could have played her more. She was fit. And there were certainly games where she could have come on and made an impact and got more time than what she did. So I would be slightly critical of that. I don't think it's a situation that couldn't have been resolved. I think we could have given her the game time she wanted. And it's just a shame that it's come to it. That said, she'll probably kill me for saying this. I think her body, ever since the injury, is a little bit slower, can't get around as much, or maybe can't do as many minutes as she was once able to do. And that's fine, and that happens. But I still think, you know, it's a risk. And she was so effective around the pitch and around the place as well, and will be a big loss. And, you know, our loss is Bristol City's gain. I think they're going to get promoted. I'd be unbelievably excited if I was a Bristol City supporter about that signing. You know, she's obviously got good memories there, having won the league with us down there last season. So yeah, I just hope they get promoted. Hope to see her back at Prenton Park someday. Hopefully we can give her the send-off that she richly deserves. And yeah, just a sad one, a real shame. I think we could have done more, but I certainly don't think she could have done any more in terms of her contributions to this football club over the 3 or however many years. And you know, there when things were going right, but also there's when things were going wrong as well. Like in the season before we got promoted, she was by far our best player, and that was a really poor Liverpool team. That's a Liverpool team we don't really want to think about very often. And she was still on in that, you know, so she dug us up from the mire so many times. She contributed so much, especially in the second half of last season. And her goals and contributions to this season may well play a massive part in keeping us up as well. So just, absolutely a legend of this football club, and I'm really sorry that I've gone on for so long. But she, you know, she deserves it as far as I'm concerned. I just love the woman.
No, 100%. I agree with everything you're saying. What a lovely end, a lovely note to end that on. I think. I mean, we will miss her very, very much, and obviously wish her all the best, and hoping she stays fit, she stays healthy, she gets a game time, and you never know, we might see her up in the WSL with Bristol next year. You never know. But yeah, that's all we have time for today. I feel like we've covered quite a lot of things, very football heavy today, which is always a nice one. But looking at the game, Nagano, wow. And yeah, things are looking better, let's say. Big game against Leicester this weekend, so make sure you get your tickets and get down and support the team. But yeah, it's exciting, isn't it, having these players now? And I think we can all agree it's if we get this right, and as you said, if we build this team around the players that we've brought in, like, we could be onto something really special here.
And just one final thing, like, if every single sign in Prenton Park and the greater Merseyside area isn't changed to Japanese by Sunday, then I'm ripping up the season ticket, never coming back.
Yeah, sound. I'll be with you on that one. On that note, thank you, Andy, for joining us this week. Pleasure as always. Always nice to hear your insight on all these different things that are going on. But yes, thank you all for watching as well on this lovely Wednesday evening. Make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. There we go. So you can be notified whenever we post, and we'll see you guys on Sunday with a lovely bit of post-match reaction. Hopefully, after pick up another 3 points and push further and further away from that relegation battle. So yeah, thank you all for watching. Make sure to like, and I said subscribe already, but we're going to say it again because God knows why not. And we will see you all this weekend. See you later.